everybody, and happy Friday. My name is Margie Remmers-Davis, and I am the founder and CEO of Acadian Accounting Education. And this is our free class that we hold every Friday inside our free Facebook group called the QBO Gym Locker Room. Why do we call it that? Because this is where we exercise. Actually, this is where we hang. The locker room is where we hang out when we exercise, but here today, we call this Locker Room Live. This is where we do our exercising. So I am super excited to have everybody here. We have in the last couple of days just gotten a flood. We can hardly keep up. Flood of new people joining the locker room. So if you are new here today, come say hi. Tell me that you're here. Allow me to introduce you and all of that stuff. Here with us on the call today, myself, as I mentioned, I'm the founder and CEO. We also have my dear husband, Joel Davis, who says, I've been here the whole time. He existed before we ever did our live stream. Also here with us today is Lindsay Key. She is our student success manager. And both of them, Joel and Lindsay, work together to hang out and help me run things smoothly. I am dragging a little bit today. Well, Joel and I are both dragging. Welcome, Angela says she's new to the locker room. So Joel and I are both dragging a little bit today. I mentioned that in my Facebook post that we had a family emergency, and we spent all day and much of last night in the emergency room with a loved one. Everything is we're doing okay. We're stable. We're doing okay. And but Joel and I are dragging a little bit this morning. So anyway, so excuse me in advance if I if I drift off. All right, we are going to be talking about some important things today. First of all, for those of you who are new, my birthday is tomorrow. So tomorrow is my birthday, and Joel and I are celebrating by taking a little trip down to Florida, which that was a little dicey last night, wondering whether we were going to be able to make it. But we are, so tomorrow's my birthday. And so for those of you who are new, every year I do a birthday giveaway, and that was scheduled for today. So, and then because of the events last night, I was not able to go through. In order to be entered in the birthday giveaway, you have to apply. I didn't have the time or the brain space to be able to sort through the applications yesterday. So, I will be doing the giveaway next week. So if you are here, come on the call next week, whatever date that is, and we're going to be doing the birthday giveaway then. So because of that, because it's not today, I have decided to open up the application process for just a little bit longer. And that's over the weekend. And Lindsay, I forgot to give Joel the link for that. So for anybody who has not entered for the birthday giveaway, if you are interested in that, she is going to post it in the chat for you guys. It's good times. So do that. All right, that's the one thing that I was going to say. Also, on August 21st, so next Thursday, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I am doing a webinar. A lot of the new people came from that webinar registration, so if that's you, welcome. But if you don't know what's happening, then next Thursday night, I'm going to be hosting a webinar on the most requested topic ever. Like, people just ask this question all the time. And that is they're wanting to know about the Intuit Bookkeeper certification. Now, we here at Acadian, we kind of splashed on the scene, made our big, move. Like, people became aware of us because we helped people get their Pro Advisor certifications. And so because people love our Pro Advisor certification courses, they're like, oh, well, are you going to do an Intuit Bookkeeper certification? Now, the Intuit Bookkeeper certification has been around for a while. It's a couple of years now. I would say 3 years maybe it's been around, and it's gone through a lot of changes. And all of a sudden, people are starting to notice it because they put it inside the Pro Advisor Academy. It used to be only available in the Intuit Academy. Now it's in the Pro Advisor Academy. It's in both places. And so on the web now, people are starting to notice it, and people are asking, like, what is this, and should I do it? And they go through it, and it is a beast to get through that training. They want to know if there is a better way. They want to know, like, it's just really an entirely different animal from the Pro Advisor certification. So I'm going to, on this webinar next Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Tara agrees that it is a beast. So next Thursday night, I'm going to be we're calling it Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About the Intuit Bookkeeper Certification. So I'm going to dish out everything. I'm going to dump out everything, the history of the certification, why it exists, how you get to the training, how you go through the test. The test itself, guys, is my curriculum development manager and I, like, we are just so aghast at how this test is being run. It's not like your typical test that you take. Like, we've all gone to school, right? We've all gone to school. We've all taken lots of tests, and we are used to a certain style of tests. This is not that. It is the craziest thing, and you have to, like, think to yourself, what? Like, what the heck are they asking? So I'm going to lay it all out on the table. I'm going to explain the whole thing. And then somebody asked if there is a replay available. Let's see. Kim says she muddled through that test before finding. Dorothy says, I love this. Oh my gosh. The test format was moronic. Yes, that is an excellent word for it. Who designed this? Like I said, my curriculum development manager and I are just like, who designed this test? Like, this is just not standard academic procedure. And it's not like I had a mentor once who said that struggle is good and that you shouldn't make things too easy for people because struggle is good. Well, yes, that is, I agree, but only struggle for the right things. Like, if you struggle with, like, lifting weights, like this, that's a good struggle, right? Because it makes your muscles stronger. If you struggle opening a carton of milk, that's not a valid struggle. Like, that struggle doesn't make you a better person. So anyway, all right. So, let's see. So yeah, Helen says that format is crazy. And let's see. Yeah, moronic. Teresa says attempting that test and actually coming 3 points away from passing is what set me on this path to you. All right. So, Uyi says, are we talking about the Intuit bookkeeping exam? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So, yeah, so next Thursday, mark your calendars. Lindsay, I don't know if you have already, she'll put in the chat the link to register for that. I know a lot of people that came here today are already registered, and that's how you found us. But yeah, make sure, because that's where I'm going to go over all of the details. All of the details. All right. Let's I have one more thing to talk to you about, but let's go ahead and dive into our course material today, because the other thing will come up as we are talking about it. Okay? Oh, let me just scroll here. Okay. All right. I am going to share my screen. All right, by the way, for those of you who are new, this is a follow-along class. We expect you to actually be doing on your own computer what I am walking through today. You cannot learn how to ride a bicycle by watching a YouTube video. Same is true, you can't just sit back and watch me talk and expect that you're actually going to absorb what we're talking about. Okay, so this is a follow-along class. And so I expect you to be on your computer. I know some people come here on their phones. Okay, you do you, but I cannot imagine. My hair is so floppy today. Have you noticed how many times I have? Anyway, yeah, so what I'm saying is follow along. All right, Lindsay just put the webinar registration link in there. All right. And I'm sharing my screen now, right? Okay, here we go. So, as I mentioned, this is the QBO Gym locker room. It is your spot for hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. That's all we do, hands-on, hands-on, hands-on. You have to actually get on the bicycle. As part of the free Facebook group, you have access, you were automatically received a free QBO QuickStart course, okay? So this is for those of you who are new, and I know we had so many people say that they're brand new. So this is going to teach you how to access your QuickBooks Online accountant account. The accountant account is different than the regular subscription that business owners get. Okay, so we're going to teach you how it's different, why it's different, how to access it. We're going to teach you terminology, workflows, and we're going to give you practice. We're going to give you practice, hands-on, actually doing it. We do all of our exercises, almost all, not 100%, but almost all of our exercises we do in the sample company that Intuit provides. Now, the sample company is a gift, and you know, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth. So it sometimes does not cooperate with us, but we are not in control of it, and we just say thank you Intuit for providing this for us. Okay, so that course was emailed to you. So when you joined the locker room, you gave us your email address, and one of the reasons we collect that email address was so that we can send you your free course. We also sent you a welcome email. I also this morning sent the agenda for today's call. So if you're not getting our emails, please go and look spam, junk, promotions, all that good stuff. And if you still can't find it, email support@acadian.com. That's AKADIAN. And we will help you with that. Things happen all the time. People type the wrong, people type their email address wrong, or like I said, spam, junk, promotions, whatever. If you ever unsubscribed with us in the past and now you've decided to come back, it doesn't automatically do that, so we have to manually hit flip a switch. So anyway, check on that. Those of you who've been on the mailing list for a while know that I've been saying for months that we're getting a new email system, and because we do have problems with ending up in spam, junk, all of that stuff. And this week, supposedly, we're making the switch. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. We're making the switch right when we're doing this webinar next week too. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. But yeah, so hopefully, fingers crossed, a lot of our problems with the email are going to go away. All right, let's see. Let me clip this. I had to move this out of the way because Sherry says that she's on her phone today only because I can't get on my computer at the moment, blue death screen. And I had to click a thing to because all I saw was death. And so I was like, holy cow, what did Sherry say? All right, it's all good. Blue death screen is actually better than an actual death, right? So, all right. So in addition to the free course, we also as a member of the locker room, you get over 100 free exercises, hands-on exercises that help you actually ride the bicycle, and you get those as a member of the group. People are always asking where to find them. We did email you the link, by the way, so check that email. But also they're here in the group in the featured section. So if you go to inside the group, there's a little tab here that says featured. You should also see a tile here that says featured. And here is this right here that says, there's a link that says welcome to the locker room. Here's the 100 free exercises. There's the link. If you're on your phone, then you may have to hit the hamburger up in the upper left-hand corner to see the featured section. But that's where you find the free exercises, okay? And then also, as a member of the locker room, you get to participate in this free class that we have every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, which is if those of you who are here live, then that's what you're participating. If you're watching this recording on YouTube, what are you doing? What are you doing? Come join us live. This is where the magic happens. This is where we have all the fun. This is where you get to ask questions and you actually get the links to everything. So including the exercise that we're going to go over today. All right. So the exercise of the week, which is what we are doing today, is part of a program that we have here at Acadian called the QBO Gym. Now, so this is called the locker room. This is free. Everything I've talked about up till now is free. Free Facebook group, free QuickStart course, free exercises, free live stream, free. But we do have, we're an education company, so we do have courses that are for sale. And one of them is called the QBO Gym. The QBO Gym is for those of you who are feeling like you just need practice being a bookkeeper, okay? We like to say that we train bookkeepers like NASA trains astronauts. We put them through simulations. So this is an opportunity for you to simulate the life of a bookkeeper. If you have ever said to yourself, oh, I wish that I could be an intern, or I wish that I could, I wish that I could shadow somebody, if I could just get practice, or if you said, well, I took the test, those of you who took the Intuit bookkeeper certification, especially, because Intuit bookkeeper certification teaches you what to do, but it doesn't teach you how to do it. So for those of you who are feeling that, and you just want you're just like, give me some hands on some books, this is an opportunity for you to work with a fictitious business owner you get to work with him for a year. Now, that doesn't mean a calendar year. It just means a year's worth of books. And we've got this kind of gym theme, because I mentioned, we're doing all these exercises. So we've got warm-ups, cardio, strength training, and cool down. And then you have 12 of those. And you can actually try out the first month for free. That's what we call the 5-day challenge. Joel has already put that in the chat, so you can try it out, see what it's like, and then you can decide if you want to work out some more, if this is going to be helpful for you to go through the whole year. Now, everything that you do in the QBO Gym is tied to your Booksmatch dashboard. Now, Booksmatch is our proprietary dashboard that we have developed to help you keep track of how you're doing in, like, what skills are you developing as you work through the gym. And so here, Julie today, she is our top ranked person. And she's marked as an exceptional talent. That everybody's ranked, but the ranks change all the time because, like, as you're working, you get to see. So here's all of the skills that she has verified, all of the stuff that she has worked through in the QBO Gym, and these, we have them by skill group, and then each skill group, you can click on it and you can get further insights into, like, what exactly. So Julie here did some report troubleshooting, she did some bank feed errors, and all of this was part of her work in the QBO Gym. We created this specifically so that we could show you off to the world. Like, look at how amazing you are. And so if you are subscribed to the QBO Gym, you have a little option that says, what does it say, Lindsay? I forgot. Open to work, I think. I think it says open to work. And so that you have, like, a little thing. And so people can find you and see. Yeah, Lindsay says, it says open to work. It's a little slider. So anyway, all right. So all of the work that you do is tracked here. So we have it, which it tracks and ranks you by 3 specific things, which are knowledge, which is the breadth of knowledge the whole time that you've been working in the gym. And then speed, which is not how quickly you work through it, but how many skills you receive in a given week. And then the most important metric that we track is actually your consistency, which is right here. Consistency is, we developed this with a recruiter. Oh, I'm getting fuzzy. Too much hands. We developed this with a recruiter, and she said that her biggest challenge was reaching out to people who weren't looking for work, like they already had a job, or they already they were working, they had something going on, they couldn't. And she was like, I wasted so much time calling these people. So she said she wanted us to have, like, a little thing where every week you would have to say, yes, I'm still open. Yes, I'm still open. Yes, I'm still open. And we thought that was a little excessive. So we said, so I said, instead of having them check a thing every week, where it's like, we'll do it every 2 weeks. And instead of having them just check a thing, we'll actually have them do an exercise. So they're actually reinforcing their skills. So anyway, all of that, so that's what this is. Now, all of that to say, I've mentioned for a couple weeks on this call that we are redesigning Booksmatch. I mean, it's not from scratch. It'll look similar, but there's some major, now that this has been out, how long have we had this? A year and a half? I can't remember. 2 years? However long we've had it. We are continuing to find things. We talk to recruiters, we talk to accounting firms. What do you want to see? How could it be better? And so like somebody asked how many people have been offered jobs. You don't get offered jobs. This is not Upwork. But it's an opportunity to start a conversation. And what was happening in the very beginning was that people were that the people that were reaching out were people who wanted like an in-house bookkeeper. They wanted like a W-2 employee, and the most of the people who were on here actually wanted freelance work. So one of the things that we're changing, I started to say, but I don't know if I finished. We're totally revamping Booksmatch. I just this week had started having conversations. I worked with the designer yesterday. There's two people I have to work with. One is the designer for like what it is going to look like, and the other is for how it actually operates. So right now, the two things that are, there's lots of things missing, but the two major things that are missing is this has only tracked your activity in the QBO gym, and it is soon going to be tracking your activity across all courses. So that's a thing that's coming. The other thing that's coming, what did I say? I lost my train of thought. Did I mention how tired I am today? What are like the two main things? Oh, is that what I was gonna say? That is, we're gonna be tracking your scores. So right now in some of our courses, not currently in the gym, although that's coming too, but in some of our courses, you actually submit coursework, and all of this time, always, we're the only ones that could see it. So what we're going to be implementing is the ability for you and, potential employers to say that oh my gosh, to be able to see your scores on your work. Okay, so that's coming. We're also going to make it where you can more prominently say whether you're open to W-2 work, so that people who are actually trying to fill jobs can like filter out those of you who only want to be freelancers. So anyway, all sorts of stuff coming. It's coming very, very soon. And so I know a lot of you have been around for a while. If you've been around for a while and you have like ideas of, oh my gosh, I wish that it had such and such a feature. Now is the time. So, because we're like, before the end of the year, you're going to see an entirely new Booksmatch, and it's exciting. All right. So as I mentioned, in order to keep your consistency high, you need to, every 2 weeks, at least every 2 weeks, be actually doing something. And so imagine you completed everything that we have. What are you going to do? So that's why we have an exercise of the week. But the bonus is that we are giving away the exercise of the week for free. So you get to be here, even if you've never purchased one of our courses, you get to be here as long as you're here live on the call, then you get the exercise of the week, which is what we are going to work through together right now. Okay. The exercise of the week is a separate course in your dashboard. So if you are currently subscribed to the QBO Gym, the exercise of the week only unlocks after you have earned 250 points. I should have mentioned, why do I always forget this? That everything that we do here at Acadian is fast, fun, and easy, and it's gamified. So as you're working through everything, there's bells and whistles and dings and badges and congratulations, woohoo! And as you do that, you earn points, and you can check your points for any individual course. Now, this is not the same number as the skills, okay? Complicated reasons I'm not going to go through, but it's not the same. Every course has points associated with it, and you can check your points in the drawer right here. So if I click that little arrow, this says 150 points. So in order to unlock the exercise of the week, you have to have accumulated at least 250 points. Why? Because you don't need it. Because if you are working through the gym, you should be working through the gym, not getting distracted by the exercise a week. Okay? So if you have if you have not received 250 points yet, or if you are not subscribed to the gym at all, then you need to use the link that you need to link. Sorry, I got distracted by Irma's question. Joel is putting the link in the chat. Joel is putting the link in the chat. Only use that link if you do not have the gym. So if you don't have the gym, or you have the gym but it's not unlocked for 250 points yet. Okay? All right. So let's see. But if you have the exercise of the week in your dashboard, then you need to use the link that's right here, and we're going to be talking about adjusting inventory. All right. I guess I'll go ahead and answer this question from Irma right now before we get started. Irma says, oh, you can't even see because I'm screen sharing. You cannot see the question. All right, Irma says, how many points can we accumulate by finishing the gym? Also, we can be, this is a question. I guess it's supposed to be, can we be certified if some of the exercises such as tags and time are not available? So, so you do get, I didn't mention this, but you do get a certification, or not a certification, a certificate at the end of working through the gym that says that you have 1 year of experience working in QuickBooks Online. We also, by the way, have year 2. So you could actually do 2 years and you get a certificate that says that you have 2 years of experience using QuickBooks Online. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to, is the certificate. The tags, it was a feature that we had in the gym, because that was a QBO feature. They took that away, and we just this week replaced it. I think that, Lindsay, I think that I asked Caitlin to pass that along to you once that was updated, or maybe I forgot. Anyway, it's now updated, so you can go back to August and you can, which previously was tags, and now it's a new thing. So that is fixed assets. So Lindsay, we need to make sure that all of the gym students know that they can go back and do that. I did see a message to the developer about how the points and all of that stuff is going to work. As far as time, I don't think so. The time is currently not available in the sample company, and but I don't think that actually affects. I think it's just part of one exercise. I don't think it's an entire exercise, so I don't think it affects Booksmatch. Excuse me 1 second. All right. Let's go back to, Caitlin said the Booksmatch skills aren't updated just yet, but students can go back and do the exercises. All right, so that is coming soon. All right, so let's go and actually do. I've talked long enough, don't you think? Let's actually do this exercise. Again, make sure you click the link here if you have the exercise of the week, because that's what gives you your Booksmatch points. The link that Joel gives you does not have Booksmatch points associated with it. Okay, so make sure you're using the right link if you are in the gym. All right, so click here to learn about adjusting inventory. We're talking about adjusting inventory today because this is something that shows up on the Intuit exam, and I have the Intuit exam on my brain. In case you missed it, I noticed we have like double the amount of attendees all of a sudden, more than when I made this announcement. But So next week, Thursday, August 21st, I'm going to be talking about the Intuit bookkeeping exam. It is by far the biggest question people have. And like, what is this exam? What does it get you? How can Acadian help me get this certification? All those questions, like, what is it? What's the difference between the Intuit Academy and the Pro Advisor Academy? All that stuff. All right. I'm going to be covering that. So next Thursday. But one of the things that on the Intuit exam, they want you to know is what happens under the covers with adjusting inventory. The Intuit exam has a significant number of questions that require you to understand the debits and credits and how the accounting equation is affected by different transactions. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And it is, I would say this is an intermediate topic that we're going to be talking about today. If you are brand new, stick with me to the end, okay? So I am going to do like a beginner's lesson. You know, we're going to go through the main exercise. Then we're going to step it back a little bit and we're going to say, okay, now what did we just see? Like, what happened? So that's going to be like a thing. But then even if that's too much for you, you'll always hear me say you might not be able to soak up everything, but you will still get wet. Okay, so just stick with me, just walk through it, and then one day you'll come back and you'll do the exercise again, or people will talk about it and you're like, oh yeah, I remember learning about that, and now like it'll suddenly make sense. Okay, all right, so here we go. Adjusting inventory. Here is our scenario. Your client Craig noticed discrepancies in his stock levels and asked you to help him correct them. The situation, as noted by Craig, is sprinkler heads, according to his QBO inventory, says 25, but in reality he only has 20. And sprinkler pipes, according to his QBO inventory, says 31, and in reality there's 35. So there's less sprinkler heads than he thought, and there's more sprinkler pipes than he thought. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to enter the inventory quantity adjustment in batch to adjust the quantities based on Craig's inventory count. Why does it say in batch? Because you could do it all. You could do both of them at once, or you could do each of them individually. So we're going to do both of them at once. All right. And we're going to use the cost of goods sold as the inventory adjustment account. Now, why would we do that? Well, we'll talk about it in a minute, because you might, like most people would say, oh, you should use a shrinkage account for that. We'll talk about why we're going to use COGS, and we're going to talk about the whole concept of shrinking the account, because Intuit in QuickBooks Online, the thing when you have inventory turned on, which by the way is only available in QBO Plus and QBO Advanced level subscriptions, when you have inventory turned on, QBO tracks both the quantity, which is the number of items that you have, and the value of what is there. Okay, so if I have 10 t-shirts, how much are those t-shirts worth? Oh, they're each worth $10. That means the value of my inventory is $100. And the value is not based on how much you think you could sell them for, but how much you bought them for. Okay? All right. So let's dive in. The first thing that we need to do is load the sample company. Now, this particular exercise does not require you to be an accountant. Anybody could do it. But our instructions are for how to get to the sample company when you are an accountant. If you are logged into your QuickBooks Online accountant account and you click the gear icon, which is up in the upper right hand corner, you can select sample company. If you do that, you will be logged out of your accountant account. You have to click continue, and then you'll be in the sample company. We here at Acadian have made things just a little bit easier, and we have created a quick link to get you to that account. So if I type acadian.com/QBOA, which Joel has also put in the chat, but maybe you should do it again so it's more recent, then it will automatically take you directly to, and you don't have to go through your accountant account. You'll have to prove that you're not a robot. And this is our sample company where we practice. Now, this was the third thing I was going to say in the announcements. Unless you are living under a rock, you know that Intuit in the last 2 weeks, in the last couple of weeks, completely changed the look and feel of QuickBooks Online. When your clients log on to QuickBooks Online, what they see is it's a completely different, completely new experience. And Intuit, bless their heart, we love the fact that they're giving us a sample company, but the sample company has still not been updated to the new interface. So we have started a little ritual here at Acadian on our Friday Lives of flooding the feedback. We know that when you go to the gear icon and you select feedback, that the actual people at Intuit read all of the feedback. And for 3 weeks now, we have collectively said, please update this, and they still have not done it. So we're not going to stop until they do it. So I want everybody right now who is on the call, I know, even if you did it last week, even if you did it the week before, please join me in flooding the feedback to Intuit and say something like, now I want you to refer to it as the test drive. Okay, so the term sample company is an accountant term, or it's a QBO accountant term. And we already know from Intuit headquarters, I spoke with them 2 weeks ago, and we already know that the accountant experience is completely changing in October. They're going to announce it at Intuit Connect, and a completely different new experience for accountants. So the sample company, we don't expect them to change. However, they also have a test drive, which they give to business owners to be able to see and play around with, and to allow accountants to kind of show what it would look like if they bought QBO. Okay, so the test drives, I want you to use the terminology test drive, okay, and say, I see that, use your own words, guys, don't use my words, okay? Last couple of weeks, I started this by saying, please, 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 okay, but now I'm going to word it a little bit differently. We have to keep doing this, guys. I see that the test drive still has not been converted to the new interface. My clients are using this, and I have no way to practice it myself or conduct any training for them. Please update the test drive. I need it like yesterday. All right. Click next. Feedback sent. All right. Everybody, we've got 119 people on this call today. I expect 119 people to bother into it about this. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Arlene. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Kimberly. All right. Now that I'm off my soapbox, let's talk about adjusting inventory. So many dones. I appreciate all of you guys. Done. Yes. Uyi's asking, you mentioned the inventory is only turned on for the QBO Plus and Advanced. Please clarify, does this mean that the product and services module within the lower subscription levels does not exist at all? No, it just means that they don't have inventory products. They still have they have service items and non-inventory products. All right, thank you everybody for leaving your feedback. All right, let's go. So now I'm in the sample company. Let's get back to our exercise. Okay. So all of our exercises at Acadian, we use a product called Scribe to create all of these like screenshots and all of that stuff. Scribe has a Google Chrome extension that you can load. So if you're using Google Chrome and you click this little puzzle piece, and that will open up extensions. You go to the Chrome Web Store and you can download, it's totally free, download this Scribe AI documentation SOPs, okay? Once you have downloaded that and you have it, you had it on your Google Chrome extension, you'll notice that the white exercises, Lindsay, notice the words guide me are back. So if on the very first of these white boxes, it'll say guide me with like a little Star Trek thing. And then if you scroll down, notice this is a red box. This is a green box. Okay. It's only on the white boxes. So here's a white box and here's the little, it doesn't say guide me. It's just the Star Trek thing. Okay. So either one, if you have the extension loaded and you have the sample company loaded and you're looking at our exercise, you click this little guide me button and magic happens. I don't know why it says we can't find the page you requested, but doesn't matter because here we are. I think it's because I was doing like the gear icon one. I don't know. Anyway, so we have the exercise right next to the sample company, which makes it really easy to do. There is this little, it says guide me on, and what that does is it takes each step individually. You have to click next to go. I don't like to do that. I prefer to scroll. So I'm just going to click guide me and turn it off. And now I can just scroll through the exercise. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the exercise. All right. So, as a reminder, here is the scenario. Your client, Craig, noticed discrepancies in his stock levels and asked you to help him correct them. What you need to know, the situation as noted down by Craig is sprinkler heads, QBO says 25, reality says 20. Sprinkler pipes, the inventory QBO says 31, reality is 35. So one of them is going up, one of them is going down. And the exercise, what we need to do is do an inventory quantity adjustment, and we're going to use the COGS account. Why? Okay. Here is the explanation. So you could use a shrinkage account. Okay, so that's very common. Shrinkage typically means that you're treating the shortage as a loss outside of normal sales, like theft, spoilage, or damage, separate from your product margin. Okay, so if this is a thing that is important for your client. So if this is going to depend on what they sell. If they sell vegetables, then spoilage is probably an actual thing. So they probably would have to throw away stuff. Okay. If things get broken, I have a friend who is she's really into Don Quixote, which I assume you guys all know who that is, and she has this sculpture in her house. She has a sculpture of Don Quixote on his horse, and he's got like his like spear or whatever thing, sword, sword. And it's so, like, every time I go to her house, I think, how does that not get broken every day? Because it's just like this little, it's like a wooden carving thing, and it's like, it looks so delicate. And I'm like, how? She's got children and grandchildren. I don't know how that thing is still alive. But anyway, my point is, maybe you have a client that has things that you want to keep track of. You want to say, these things got broken, and so we're going to use this shrinkage account, or you could create your own account called broken, right? So then it all depends. Here's the thing about the chart of accounts, guys. It depends on what your client cares about. So in Bookkeeping Fast Track, which is one of our courses, we talk a lot. Those of you who are in the course, who are on the call today, like you can verify in the chat. We talk a lot about setting up your chart of accounts categories to match the tax form. Okay, but that only tells part of the picture. You have the business owner. Like you have to work with the business owner to say what is important for you to know about your business. One of the things we say is, what question do you wish that you knew the answer to about your business? And that's how you set up the chart of accounts. So shrinkage, but maybe they need one that's spoilage. Maybe they need one, you have to understand your client's business, okay? But you could also, and this is what we're doing in the exercise today, we can just assume that the missing stock was sold or otherwise consumed in producing sales and moves the cost out of, and what we're going to do is we're going to move the cost out of inventory to cost of goods sold. So instead of it being spoilage, theft, damage, we're just going to say, you know what, I think probably it was sold, but we just lost track of it, and so that's why these are the things that you have to think through when you're setting up the chart of accounts and when you're doing your bookkeeping. All right, so for this exercise, we're going to use COGS. All right, so here we're going to go to the left navigation bar. We're going to hover over sales right here, and then select products and services. And this is not the only way to get to the products and services list. It's just one of them. That's the one we're going to do. And I'm going to click this little icon here to just give me some more real estate while I'm talking to you guys. Brenda says, take the Bookkeeping Fast Track course. Uyi says, the chart of accounts lesson is one of my favorites. I go back to it multiple times. Awesome. Okay, so from the left navigation bar, we're going to hover. Oh, we did that one already. Okay, so now we're going to click sprinklers. That is a mistake. That was I'm going to take it off right now. That click sprinklers is an error from something I was doing earlier today. And we're just going to delete that step. Magic. Okay, so what we actually want to do is we actually want to click on the checkbox next to sprinkler heads and sprinkler pipes. Remember I said that we're doing this in batch. We're not going to, we could go into each one individually and adjust the inventory. We're not going to do that. We're going to do a batch. And this, by the way, is not the only way to do it. This is just one way that we're talking about today, okay? So we're going to check sprinkler heads and sprinkler pipes. And then I want you to pay attention to the cost of these two items, okay? So the sprinkler heads they are 75 cents. That means it costs Craig 75 cents to buy a sprinkler head. The pipes are $2.50. That means it costs Craig $2.50 to buy one of those things. That's not how much he sells them for. He probably sells them for far more than that. If he didn't, he would not be a good businessman. But it costs him this much. So remember I said that the value of the inventory is going to go down based on how much remember those t-shirts? It's how much he bought those t-shirts for, not how much he intends to sell them for. That's how much the value of the inventory asset is going to go down, okay? So pay attention to those numbers, 75 cents and $2.50. But in the meantime, we're going to go up here to Batch Actions, and we're going to select Adjust Entry. Okay, so here we are, Adjust Entry. Notice that it assumes that the account that I want to use is inventory shrinkage, but we just said we're not going to use inventory shrinkage. We're going to use cost of goods sold. Okay, so we're going to change that to cost of goods sold. And just as a reminder, what we're talking about is the value of the missing or added things, okay? How if they're missing, where do they, like, how are we keeping track of that? Where are we keeping track of that? And we are choosing cost of goods sold, okay? All right, so on the first line, the sprinkler heads, we're going to enter the new quantity. So here's the quantity on hand. Our new quantity is 20. And then the sprinkler pipes, our new quantity is 35. Okay? All right. Now, notice when I did that, QuickBooks Online automatically changed the quantity number here. So it knows that this one went down by 5 and this one went up by 4. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to click the black Save button. And I'm going to hit Save right here, not the Save and Close, just the black Save button. Because what we're going to do is we're going to look under the hood and see what just happened. Remember I said at the beginning, the whole reason we're doing this as the exercise of the week today is because this is what they want you to know for the Intuit exam. And the Intuit exam is on my brain because we're doing a webinar next week, August 21st. Okay, so they want you to know how it affects the account. So let's take a look at it. The way we do that is we click More, and then we click Transaction Journal. And for those of you who keep track, I have not drunk a shake on the call in a very long time. And but I have in the past, and I used to talk about what flavor it was. Today is banana peach. So for those of you who've been around for a while and we're keeping track of my smoothies. Okay, so let's take a look at the transaction journal. Again, I'm going to click this so you guys have more. Okay, so let's take a look at the transaction journal. This is what's happening underneath the covers when you use tools. Now, the Intuit bookkeeping exam is all about bookkeeping and accounting. It is not at all about QuickBooks Online. We'll talk about that more next week. But that is, so that's why they're wanting you to know actually the movement of what happens, okay? So here is what happened to the ledger after that transaction happened. We've got two items here that they're all zeros. I don't know why they're there. They don't make any sense to me. So we've got these two, and then we've got this one. I don't know why they're there. That's some kind of a glitch. This exercise I originally wrote in 2023. I revisited it this morning to prepare for today, and it was the same glitch. It was the same glitch 2 years ago as it is today. So I don't know, maybe there's a reason for that glitch, but those 3 lines don't want to pay attention to. The one we want to pay attention to, there's 4 lines that we need to pay attention to. And that is this one right here, the inventory asset for $3.75, and the cost of goods sold for $3.25. And then this one right here, inventory asset for $10, and the cost of goods sold for $10. Okay, so let's take a look at what is happening here. Remember I said to keep track of the cost of those items. That's where these numbers come from. Okay, so the cost of the sprinkler heads was 75 cents, and they reduced by 5 for a total of $3.75. So $3.75 went out of the inventory asset account. The inventory asset account, remember, holds the total value of those, what do we say, the sprinkler heads. Okay, and now there's 5 less sprinkler heads than there was, so that value of that account has to be reduced. Okay, now assets live on the debit side, so when the inventory asset account decreases, it shows on the credit side. Now, if that just broke your brain, take a deep breath. Don't worry, I'm going to explain in just a minute, okay? If you just said to yourself, what the heck? It decreased, and so I'm going to credit. Just stick with me. Stick with me, okay? I'll explain why that is in just a minute. The cost of the sprinkler, so now let's move on to sprinkler pipes, okay? So the sprinkler pipes was $2.50. That's the cost of each one, and it increased. We said, oh, there's four more than we have, than we thought we had, okay? So there's 4 more. It's a total of $10, 4 times $2.50, okay? Assets live on the debit side, as I just said. The inventory asset increased. There's more there now than we thought, and so it's going to show up on the debit side. Okay. COGS. Oh my gosh, Christina. Christina says, I don't have to say what the heck anymore because I took the fast track. That's awesome. You know what we're going to start doing? I was just thinking about this morning. I need to start having you guys teach this. There is nothing better to solidify your knowledge of things than to teach something. Like, it just, I mean, yeah. I mean, the extra, well, I'm not even going to go, but there's nothing better. So we're going to work on that. I just had a brainstorm idea this morning, and I learned from Alex Hormozy that when you have a brainstorm like that idea, you have to sit on it and then decide later if it's a good idea before you move on it. He said entrepreneurs always have a tendency, we've got all these great ideas, and then you pass them on to the team, and then you stress out your team. So anyway, so I'm sitting on it. I'm sitting on an idea, Lindsay. Anyway, all right. So we're balancing. So these two, we're talking about the inventory asset account. Okay, inventory asset account is the balance of what is current, the value of what is currently the value of what is currently in inventory. And so that total value has changed, and we said, well, where are we going to post the balance of that? Like, we're moving it from one place. It has to go somewhere else. We already decided it's going to COGS. COGS is an expense account. It also lives on the debit side, which means that it increases on the left and decreases on the right. All right. So for those of you who are brain broken, let's talk about how to understand debits and credits, okay? All right, here we go. Moving it on the screen. Here we go. So, in double entry accounting, sorry, I saw a question there. I got distracted. Okay, so in double entry accounting, every time, whenever you record something, you have to record an equal amount on the other side. The entries must balance. So here at Acadian, we like to think of that as a seesaw. Oh my gosh, Lindsay, we should put the Acadian A right here. Why have we not been using the Acadian A for this slide all this time? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay. So we like to think of it as a seesaw. You've got debits on the left, you've got credits on the right. If you add something on the left-hand side, you have to add something on the right-hand side to balance it out. Now, every type of account, and there are six, there's really 5, but there's also a 6 that we throw in. Every type of account lives on one side or the other. Each type lives on one side or the other, okay? That's referred to as the natural balance. It's where it sits on the seesaw if you don't do anything, okay? It's where they start. Now, where they start is something you have to memorize. There's just no way around it. You have to memorize the natural balance. Like when you were a kid and you learned how to read, you had to memorize the alphabet. I'm a musician, and so I had to memorize key signatures. Like, it's just a thing that you have to learn. But we're going to help you remember. We're going to have, just like you have a little song for the alphabet, we're going to help you remember which is which and where they go. Okay, so we're going to draw a line on our seesaw, and on the right hand side we're going to keep track of where money came from. And on the left hand side we're going to keep track of where the money went. In other words, the destination. Okay, where it came from, that's the credit, and where the destination, destination, that's the debit. Okay, so where does money come from? There's really only 3 places that money comes from. The first is income. You sell stuff to customers and money comes in. Magic. We also refer to that as revenue. Okay, so revenue is one of the places money comes from. Where else does money come from? Well, it comes from the owners. The owners of the business put money in to get the business started, okay? You are the owner of a bookkeeping firm and you bought a course to make yourself a better bookkeeper, okay? That is you putting money into the business. And when the owners put money into a business, we call that equity. So that's another letter that's going to help us remember. And then finally, the only other place money comes from is it comes from other people. It's a loan. It's something that you have to pay back, and that's what's referred to as a liability. Okay, so those are the 3 places. Those are the 3 places that money comes from. So where does money go in a business? Well, one of the places it goes to assets. Assets are the things you own, and there's categories of assets based on how soon they can convert to cash, but it's basically just how much you own, and it's just what you own, and it could be that cash is sitting in a bank account, that's an asset, or it could be that that is a thing that you own is a piece of equipment, or it could be a vehicle. Okay, so there's a range of things that are called assets, but that's another place money goes, is to the things you own. Another place money goes is to expenses. You now have to pay somebody else because something else, something happened in your business. Okay, so that's an expense. And then the final place that the money goes, only three things. The final place that the money goes is back to the owner. And when it goes back to the owner, it's called a distribution or a dividend, or there's a third thing, begins with a D. I suddenly can't remember it. Anyways, just distribution or dividend, that's when it goes back to the owner. Okay, so you can see that we can use the letters dealer to help us remember. Did Jane put it in? Oh yeah, draw. Thank you. Distribution, dividend, and draw. Thank you, Christina. I told you guys it was a long night, right? Okay. All right, so we've got, so that dealer is going to help us remember, and that just helps us remember where it sits on the seesaw where it begins, okay? Once you know where it begins, then we have to start talking about how it moves. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but before we do, I just want to point out a little thing that I think is very fascinating that helps also kind of remember where things are. And that is that on the right-hand side, I mentioned that we have owners. Owners contribute and owners draw. Okay, so they're on two sides. Also, I mentioned that expenses, that's when we pay other people. Okay, we pay vendors, and the money comes from customers. Okay, so we have these two things that kind of connect to each other. We have vendors and customers. And assets and liabilities, which are the things you own and the things you owe, both of these often, not always, often involve institutions. So the bank. So you've got your bank account and you have your bank that has the loan. Anyway, I just think that's a fascinating thing. It's not always true in all circumstances. You could get a loan from a person, and if you have a car, that's not an institution, So anyway, but I like to just point that out because I think it kind of helps solidify it in your brain. All right, so now that we've talked about where they live, let's talk about where they start out. Let's talk about how they move, okay? So we have we have debits on the left, we have credits on the right, okay? And all this time that when we talk about debits and credits, okay, or debit accounts and credit accounts, okay, so a noun or an adjective, we are talking about where they live, okay? So if I say this is so for example, in the previous exercise, and we're going to come back to it in just a sec, in the exercise that we're working on today, an inventory asset account, that's an asset account, and that is an asset. Assets are debit accounts, okay? They live on the left-hand side. So we can say that an asset is a debit or it's a debit account. That's what we're talking about right here. But then sometimes people use it as a verb, okay? So they say you debit something. Now, when you say you debit an account as a verb, you're debiting an account, it always means it's moving to the left. And when you say that you're crediting an account, it always means that you're moving to the right. The hard part is when people use the terms increase and decrease. In the real world, like not accounting world, like in the real world, we think, oh, debit means decrease and credit means increase, right? In the accounting world, that's not how it works, okay? That's why your brain breaks when you're looking at the transaction journal like we did just a little bit ago, okay? Because you're like, oh, wait, there's less money in it, but that's a credit? What? Okay, well, let's go through it, okay? All right, so in order to understand how this works, I'm going to take you back to when you were in middle school and you learned how to graph numbers, okay? So when you graph numbers, you had a line down the middle and you had a line across and you had 0 at the intersection, right? You had 0 where they were. And on the right-hand side, you had positive numbers, okay? And the positive numbers went to the right in that direction. As they increased, the numbers went to the right, okay? And as the numbers decreased, they went to the left, okay? All right, so that's easy. Not a problem at all. We've all got it. It's all easy when we're talking about positive numbers. When we get on the other side of that 0, when we get to talking about negative numbers go the opposite direction. So negative numbers, -1, -2, -3, -4, right? They go to the left. And so they increase that direction. And when they decrease, when there's less negative, it goes to the right, okay? Now, I am not under any circumstances saying that debits, expenses, and assets are negative numbers. They are absolutely not. It does, however, help stick it in your brain if you think of that's how it operates. So it operates like this. This is the seesaw right here. I should put a little thing there. This is the seesaw. So it's going more this direction or it's going more this direction, and we have to balance it out. Okay, so let's go back and take a look at the transaction journal from this inventory adjustment that we just made. Okay, all right, what did we say? So here is the sprinkler heads. The sprinkler heads were $7.75 each. They reduced by 5 for a total of $3.75. Okay, so we're talking about the value of that bucket of sprinkler heads is now less than it was before. The assets naturally live on the left-hand side. Did it go down further or did it go up, right? It moved to the right, okay? That's why when it decreased, it moved to the right on the credit side. And then the opposite happened with the sprinkler pipes, okay? All right, that is it for our exercise, guys. All right, you know what, Lindsay, I tried to take this off today, this little thing. And so we have our own feedback form here, guys. I don't know why this is still showing up. I tried to take it off, but it didn't show up. All right, that is our lesson for today. I'm looking to see any questions. Kalina says, I would love a jingle for debits and credits. There is an AI tool. I'll have to look it up. I don't know what it is. There is there's an AI tool that teaches that will create music. So maybe we should do that. Maybe we should come up with, that would be a fun thing. You know, I'm a singer. I'm trained as an opera singer. Maybe some of you don't know that, but anyway, so and I could just sing it at the beginning, sing it every time I do the debits and credits lesson. All right. So that is our lesson today. Now, we always end the live stream, once we've talked about the exercise, is we talk about marketing. Now, Brenda says we want a concert. The opera would be glorious. All right. Faith says, I learned this on Intuit training, but hearing you explain it made it clearer. Awesome. Thank you so much, Faith. All right. I am kind of known for my explanation of debits and credits. But anyway, so today we always wrap up the call by talking about marketing. Now, Acadian is not a marketing company, but we have so many people who ask us for help. Like people, oh, how do I get a client? How do I get a client? How do I get a client? Okay. So we have available, we have put together a Getting Clients toolkit that teaches you everything you need to know to get a client. It is how to set up your LinkedIn profile, how to set up Calendly, how to use Canva to create a logo and create what we call QBO quick tips, how to, what else is in there? How to like reach out to people, and how to secure a diagnostic review so that you can actually look at people's books and do cleanups. So anyway, we put all together. It's absolutely free. If you are a student, you automatically get it. But if you're not, if you haven't ever paid us for a course, then we'll just give it to you for free if you ask for it. So don't ask me. Write to support at Acadian, AKADIAN, and we'll put that for you. You already have a Booksmatch dashboard with the QBO QuickStart. We'll add the Getting Clients cohort or Getting Clients toolkit if you ask for it. One of the things we talk about in there is constantly posting in your social media and saying that you are a bookkeeper. Because I have to tell you guys, that's what it takes to be. That's how you get clients. There is no other way on the planet, in the universe. There's no other way in the known universe for you to get a client besides telling people that you are a bookkeeper. That's really all it is. You tell people you're a bookkeeper. You tell people you're a bookkeeper. You tell people you're a bookkeeper. I always like to say, how many real estate agents do you know? You know who all the real estate agents are because they constantly tell you they are real estate agents. So, because for them to build their business is a heck of a lot more expensive than you building your business. So, yeah, you just reach out to, you just have to tell people that you're a bookkeeper. So you tell people you're a bookkeeper, and then people are like, and then you constantly post on social media, but you're not going to post, hey, every day, hey, I'm a bookkeeper. You're not going to say that. You're going to add something, actually give them something of value so that people stop the scroll. They want to see, oh, what did you have to say today? And the way that we recommend doing that is via something called a QBO quick tip. And so I started telling people this, just tell people about QuickBooks. Like, just constantly tell people about QuickBooks. We actually recommend, instead of saying I'm a bookkeeper, I should have said this earlier, but we actually recommend that you refer to yourself as a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Now, in order to say that, you do have to pass the level 1 certification to get that badge and get that prominence, get that pat on the back, and then you can say, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. And I feel that it is, that's actually more attractive. You'll actually get more people talking to you than you will just if you say that you're a bookkeeper. Because if you just say you're a bookkeeper, then, which you still can, that's still a thing, but people will only reach out when they need a bookkeeper. If you say you're a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, then people will say, oh, I use QuickBooks Online, or oh, I know somebody that's on. One time I went to the gym, and as I was leaving, I was talking to the receptionist, and she just said, what do you do? We were chatting about something, and she goes, what do you do for a living? And I said, maybe because I was at the gym in the middle of the day. But she goes, what do you do for a living? And I said, oh, I teach QuickBooks Online. And she goes, oh my gosh, I know 2 people right off the top of my head that need you. So, that's how easy it is. That's how easy it is, guys. So, but so many people say, oh, well, I don't know what to say. And I think, how do you not know what to say? You are learning something if you're going through our courses, you are learning something every single day. If you're here every week on our free class, you just learned something today. Go right now and talk about what you learned. Create a little Loom video. Use the exercise that you got today, for reference, if you can't remember. But talk about how to make inventory adjustments and how you might not always want it to be inventory shrinkage. You might want it to be something else. It depends on, like, create a Loom like that. So, oh, this is awesome. Becky is so awesome at this, by the way. Becky, you are like one of my favorite people on LinkedIn. Her posts are always so valuable. And she just said, I just had a friend reach out to me for bookkeeping services after she saw my posts. I'm grateful I've been doing those QuickBooks tips. Thank you for the push to be consistent. Awesome. So all that to say is that we, as part of your experience here today, you get a free prompt. This is not an AI prompt. This is a prompt, or it's a way for you to start a conversation on LinkedIn and be like Becky and have people reach out. Okay. So today, and Joel has already put it in the chat. Okay. The QBO quick tip for today. I got to share my screen again. How do I do that? Share this one and then this one. Okay. So we learned about adjusting inventory. Here's a sample post. QBO quick tip. Not all inventory adjustments are created equal, and using the right account matters. Whether you're accounting for spoilage, shrinkage, or overages, choosing the correct adjustment account keeps your cost of goods sold and inventory values accurate. It keeps your books honest and your future self very grateful. Want help picking the right account and getting it logged properly? I've got you. Okay? So it's just a little thing about what you learned. It's just demonstrating your expertise. So I'm going to stop my share for a second because I have a window I forgot to bring up. So if you're a member of the QBO Gym, then you get these you earn the marketing prompts. Okay, so as you finish a section, you just learned about whatever, then we say, oh, you just learned about whatever, so here's like 5 marketing prompts that you can go out right now and talk about, like, what you learned in the gym just now. So every month you get like 20 marketing prompts, which, I don't know, you get like, there's so many marketing prompts in the gym. All right, so and I wrote those marketing prompts. Once I decided to include them, I wrote them. I just wrote them myself. Like, I just went in and just did it. And then a couple months ago, I decided, I wonder if ChatGPT could write these marketing prompts for me. And so now, guys, that's what I do. I take the link to the scribe. I did this for several. So when I first started, I put a bunch of the scribe links in there, and I put a bunch of my previous marketing prompts, so it would know kind of like the style of what I was going for. It would know my voice, and so so that's called training it. So I did that for a while, and then now it knows, and now I rarely have to adjust it. Sometimes I do, and on this call we talk about how I adjusted it. This week I did not adjust it. However, what I did do is, okay, so here's the one from today. Here's the exercise. I just pasted it in. But I gave it a hint because in that exercise, we go into all sorts of detail on debits and credits, right? Like, we go in under the hood. This is why it goes this way. This is why it goes that way. Like, we did all that, right? We looked at the transaction journal. But the business owner does not care about that. So I wanted to make sure, before it even gave me the prompt, I wanted to make sure that it didn't include any of that stuff. So normally I just give it the URL. But today I said the business owner is not going to care about the debits and credit stuff, but we do want to highlight the fact that the type of adjustment account matters, and we can help them sort it out. Okay, so great. Here's what they gave me. Exactly what I said. Okay, you can use ChatGPT. In fact, in the Getting Clients Toolkit, we had our marketing director do a webinar once, and he just, oh my gosh, he gave us so much information, including like, there's a tool in there, and I can't remember how it works, but like you type in kind of like what you want to talk about, and it gives you like a whole matrix of prompts or like things you could do. It's all in the toolkit. All right. I think that's it, guys. I think I covered everything that I needed to cover today. I think I have answered all the questions. I didn't see any questions popping up. Don't forget, next Thursday, 7 p.m., everything you ever wanted to know about the Intuit bookkeeping certification. One of like my most popular things, like so many, I'm so glad that I'm doing this. So I don't have to keep explaining it over and over. So yeah, so make sure, my birthday giveaway, we couldn't do it today. Next week, we're going to do it next week, which means you have the weekend to, if you haven't entered already, and Lindsay put the link earlier, but she could put it again if you need it. And then, we did flood the feedback. We kept on into it to, we got to keep on them to get us a good test drive, so that once we get that test drive, once we get a good version of the test drive, then we will be updating all of our materials. Laura says she needs the birthday link. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Lindsay. All right. So I think we are good to go. Let me just scroll. If you guys are welcome to go, have a great weekend. But I do want to just skim through, make sure I didn't, let's see. I'm still working through the fast track. Oh, looks like this was answered in the chat, so I think you guys are good. About the difference between promotional items. So there is actually in the gym, there is in the June issue is all about, the June section is all about inventory, different types of inventory, periodic and perpetual inventory, and it does talk about using when you're donating items instead of just like, so when you're donating inventory so like for promotional type things versus just like inventory shrinkage like we talked about today. So that is in June in the gym. All right. So many wonderful things. Thank you for all of the birthday wishes. Joel and I are headed to Florida just in a couple of hours. We're going to get on a plane, head to Florida for the weekend, celebrate my birthday. But we'll be back. I will see you Monday for This Week at Acadian. Have a wonderful weekend. I can't wait to hear your success story.